President Obama promised us this. Take a listen.
No matter how we reform health care, we will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period. No one will take it away, no matter what.
Well, turns out that's not actually the case. At least 2 million people and counting have been told they can no longer keep their existing insurance plans, and that's left some members of Congress, including some Democrats, outraged. Well, here's a Republican from Wisconsin, Senator Ron Johnson. He unveiled a bill yesterday to allow Americans to keep their health plans. As always, Senator, welcome back to the program. Tell us about your bill. Tell us about your bill, please.
Well, first of all, isn't that stunning to hear President Obama repeat that promise? I mean, he was either being totally dishonest or he was totally disengaged, had no clue what was in his health care law, and didn't understand the consequences of it. So what my bill does, it actually is a true grandfather clause. It'll actually honor that promise for millions of Americans by actually allowing them to keep the health care plan that they do choose, that they have the freedom to choose.
Will this include, by the way, employer-based health care plans?
Right. Yeah, what it basically does is if you have a health care plan in place by the end of this year, if you like it, it's not going to load up any additional mandates, because that's what President Obama's grandfather clause did. It said, yeah, you can keep your health care plan as long as it complies with all of our mandates and all that added expense. We just say, no, if you like your health care plan, you actually can keep it. Very simple.
Senator Johnson, isn't it the case that while the president has been out there for several years saying you can keep your plan, you can keep your doctor, that his own senior staff people were hammering down regulations that would knock out the grandfathering? And they had to. They all knew that. They all knew that. They made him a liar. I mean, in some sense, but I have a hard time believing that nobody in the White House understood what was going on.
Well, this isn't just the way they wrote the regulation, but you're right. When they wrote that regulation, his own agency said 40 to 67% of Americans back in 2010, they knew this, were going to lose their health care plan. But Larry, it was obvious. It was obvious to me sitting back in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, that millions of Americans would lose their health care plan just because all the incentives were there for example, for employers to drop health care coverage and dump their employees in the exchange. We saw Rahm Emanuel, his own chief of staff, now he's mayor of Chicago. He's dumping Chicago retirees in the exchanges. So it was obvious to anybody that really understood what that health care plan was all about. It should have been obvious to the president.
Tell me about inside this thing. You've got 30-something co-sponsors. Do you have Democrats?
Well, we've already got 40. I did hear that Senator Mary Landrieu was talking about crafting a bill of her own, but ours is so simple. It uses President Obama's own grandfather language. We just extract those mandates. So it's going to be difficult for Mary Landrieu to craft a more simple bill that does what President Obama promised it would do.
Can you get a vote on that? Has Reid said anything, Harry Reid, or what?
Well, I sure hope so. Let's face it, all of these Democrats that voted for this thing, you know, the question we ought to ask every one of them is, did you believe the president? Did you really think that millions of Americans wouldn't lose their health care? Did you really think the health care the cost of it would decline by $2,500 per year per family? If you didn't believe that, the least you can do is step up the plate and let's try and protect the millions of Americans that are losing their health care plan right now. Step up the plate, support my bill, honor that promise that President Obama made.
All right, good luck to it. Senator Johnson, thank you very much. Hope you can get that thing up and through. Up next on